influencer. What is an influencer, right? It's a thing now. And today, in just 4 years, her business has grown to be a full-service marketing agency specializing in that elusive concept of social media marketing. Please welcome to the stage, Lauren Farmer.
I love that it's you up here. Good to see you too. I'll see your husband tomorrow, actually, at our meeting. Hi, everyone. Can y'all hear me? This is like the second time in my life that I've worn a mic, besides like karaoke. Oh, hi. So, fun fact, I am actually from Temecula. So as I look around here, I'm thinking like, oh, I was in CP Bio with your child. Like, I know you, you know my realtor. Like, so this is just kind of like all big one happy family. So today, as Kim talked about, I'm going to talk about my journey as an influencer and an owner of a boutique creative marketing studio. And my presentation is about staffing your weaknesses. But before I jump into everything, I'm going to take you on a little trip down memory lane. And this was once upon a time. The year was 2015. And this is a photo of the night that I quit my job. Yeah, with nothing lined up. Yeah, my dad was a really big fan of that one. So I was working for a corporate company, and I was the art director. I had a design team, an associate designer. We did $8 million in sales every year. I mean, it was a great job. And one day I went to work and found out some stuff that no longer made me feel good about working there. And that day I said, this isn't for me. And I left with no job lined up. And it was a little bit scary. And that night, my husband was deployed at the time. He was then my boyfriend. And our squadron took me out to the Marine Corps ball. And everyone was like, you're going to be fine, Lauren. Everything's going to be okay. Like, you were born to do marketing. It's going to be fine. And I was like, okay, all right, yeah, sure. And fast forward a little bit. That was my husband a couple months later when he quit his job. Yeah, so we really got off to a bang in the marriage department. He dropped his papers at the United States Marine Corps after 10 years and decided that he wanted to do civilian work. We didn't want to do deployments. We were getting ready to get married and thought, well, it's time for a fresh start. So we were both unemployed. And let me tell you, there is nothing like the fear of not being able to pay your rent or like eat to put, some fire in your belly. And I thought, okay, well, it's time to kind of make this happen. I was going on a lot of job interviews, and to be completely honest, no one was hiring me. And I remember feeling really kind of frustrated because I thought, I know in my bones I can do this. Like, I could help build brands. I have something to give. Like, I just need someone to give me a chance. I know I can do this. And I got that chance with Peltzer Winery. Before they opened, I met with Carrie Peltzer, and I signed on to do their marketing. And I was with Peltzer, like 6 months before, and I decided, I'm not seeing a lot of social media in Temecula. And while I have limited experience, AKA I only have a personal profile, I was like, there's a market for this. Like, this is a way to get people there. Like, we could capture people's eyeballs, and like, I know we could make this work. And so I put all of my eggs in the social media basket in like true millennial status. And it worked. We were the fastest growing social media account in Temecula. Within 6 months, we were one of the top 5 accounts. Most of the accounts had been established over 5 years before we even showed up. And it was amazing. And the business grew. And I thought, I love this. I'm kind of loving being a freelancer, running my small business. And so I started talking about it on social media, on my influencer channel. And I would just talk about what I was loving about being a small business and how much I loved Temecula and the wine country, and I was doing a lot of wine blogging. And then turns out people were seeing that, and then I started getting more work from it in my business. And I was like, all right, this is great. Thank you, Instagram. And so I kept going. That was in 2016, I think. I'm proud to say that now we have a team of 8. We've got girls in Florida, San Diego. I've got 4 in Fort Worth. And we now offer services like social media management, SEO, graphic design, copywriting, on-site hospitality photography. We've worked with household brands like Jenna Kutcher, Papyrus, Hurley, Billabong. You might know of Grapeline Wine Tours right here in Temecula. They're also one of our clients. Thank you, Kim and John, which is actually the reason that I'm here today. And then I kept moving on my blog. And I thought, okay, well, social media is working for these businesses. I'm going to start promoting my own. And my personal Instagram became my biggest source of income for my business. The first 2 years, 95% of my sales came from my social media platform. And it was funny because I remember I had moved to Texas with my husband about 2 years after I started business. And I remember thinking when I started, if this could just subsidize our rent, like that would be great. And now this business pays the rent of 7 people on our team. And we've worked with Office Depot, TX Whiskey, Benjamin Moore, Holiday Inn. We've done dozens of partnerships, and it's also given me the opportunity to do travel blogging across the globe. We did Paris, Rome, Zurich, Lucerne, and Prague, all within the last 2 years. Thank you. My absolute favorite part is social media allowed me to create a job for my best friends. They were also able to get out of the military, and we moved them 3 blocks away from us in Fort Worth. Yes. It was amazing. But I'm not telling you guys this to say, oh, it's so great that it worked for me. I'm telling you this because there's a way to make it work for you. I had no marketing budget when I started. I was the marketing budget, and I did everything. You are looking at the CEO, custodian, salesperson, QuickBooks slave. I mean, I was like a one-woman show. And I finally got to the point in the business where I accepted, I can't do this all. I can't do it. If I want to have a life, I can't run the social and do it all. I couldn't even do my own social and my clients at the same time. And that's why we started bringing on more people. And I discovered this tiny phrase that completely changed my life: staff your weaknesses. It's a John Maxwell quote. I love him. But this phrase, I realized I don't have to do this by myself. And guess what? There's other people that are better than a lot of these things. And so we brought on a graphic designer and a project manager. Oh, my project manager, her brain, it's like a filing cabinet. It's amazing. And I realized that when I was focusing on running the business, when I was doing sales and what I was good at, my business grew way faster than when I was doing it on my own. And the budget that I was allocating to that payroll and things that were compromising my margin was expanding my sales. And what I lost in margin, I made up in volume. I mean, we grew 650% over the past 4 years. And I can sit here and tell you, without my girls, there is absolutely no way that would have ever happened. They are the lifeblood of my brand. And so what I want to share with you guys today is how you can use social media and how you can hire and manage a team, even if you aren't a social media expert, to grow your brand. And these are some of the topics I want to go over. And just so you guys know, my amazing team has put this presentation on our website, on SipDineDesign.com, on my blog. So I don't want anyone to have to worry about jotting down statistics or anything. You can just listen and soak it in, and that will all be available for y'all online. Thank you. I know, staff your weaknesses, right? All right, so I want to go through the cliff notes. A lot of people say, well, what's the deal with social media? What's next? And I'm here to tell you, it's not going anywhere. Yes, social media is here to stay, people. Right now, people spend 142 minutes a day on social media. That's 2.5 hours a day. 2.5 hours. That's where people's eyeballs are. So that's where we need to get in front of them. And the reality is, that is the easiest way for you to connect with your customer. A lot of people will not have their first touch or connection with your brand by walking through your brick and mortar doors. They're going to do their research. So your social media profiles, that's your portfolio, and you need to make sure that it's representing your brand the best that it can do to bring in the most sales. This is your biggest sales funnel. So 79% of adults in the US use at least one social media site. And if people have an average of 7 different channels that they use. 7. And 87% of consumers who follow a brand say that they're likely to visit that brand's website or app. So I know a lot of people are concerned of, well, what if we put up a post and not everyone sees it? Well, I'm telling you, they're looking at your social. I mean, they're checking you out. That's where they're trying to build their research, and that's their first point of interest. Some other actions that people take on social media, this is more for you guys to check back later, but just so you get some insight into how people are interacting with social media pages. All right, the biggest part of hiring for social media is you need to find an experienced candidate, but the reality is this is your business. So at the end of the day, no one will love your brand as much as you do. So it is your responsibility to learn and educate yourselves on the generics of social media so you can make sure that you're getting your money's worth, that you're making an educated decision, and that you can have full faith in the person that you've hired so you can let them do your job so you can do your job. So I want to give you a little overview so you kind of understand what platforms there are and how they're used, because not all platforms are created equally. So this is a little cheat sheet that my team put together about Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, and Snapchat. And you can see there's kind of a variation in the amount of users, the usage, and the age groups. So you're going to want to take a look at who your target market is and what their ages are and say, okay, I am really working with a lot of people that I think are 55 and older, so Snapchat's not going to work for me. But Facebook is going to work for me. And you put your eggs in the Facebook basket. I mean, the number one mistake that I see people doing is trying to do it all. And I would say, pick 2 to 3 accounts, do them very well, and forget the other ones. Here's a breakdown by usage. So you can see, in 2015, the amount of people that used Facebook, it's now dwindling. And you can see Facebook is increasing, as well as Snapchat. Pinterest and Twitter kind of stay the same around the board. So that kind of gives you some insight into what the trends are with social media. And actually, Instagram, I think, is the only social media platform that's expected to show significant growth. Here's a breakdown by age. And again, this will all be on the website, so you guys can look back to it later. All right, and then Instagram. Not all platforms have the same type of content. So you can do an image, you can do a carousel, you can do videos, and you can do stories. I'm going to tell you right now, stories are very important. I know it's a little scary, it's kind of new-ish, but Instagram is going for it. I mean, that's where you're going to build a lot of engagement with people. That's where you're going to make connections. That's your opportunity to have an organic interaction and show inner workings of your business. If it's someone's birthday, put a story of your team member on Instagram showing that it's their birthday. I mean, if you have an office dog, oh my God, if you have an office dog, put that bad boy on Instagram. Here's some stats also. 70% of users look up a brand on Instagram. 7 out of 10 people are expecting your brand to have an Instagram profile. And then 1/3 of the most viewed stories on Instagram are from business profiles. So I don't get it, but people are into businesses on Instagram. Usually, it's kind of a hard sell for businesses on social media. Consumers, for whatever reason, on other channels, there's less engagement on business posts. They're loving it on Instagram. Facebook. Facebook, you can do single image posts, you can share articles. I love Facebook for the events. If you have a brick and mortar and you're having an event, it's a great way to do event posts to get an idea of who could be coming and basically just kind of share about your event, and it's free. Love that. And then Americans spend 58 minutes a day on Facebook, e-commerce click-throughs. You just have to be careful with Facebook that you're making sure that if you're running ads, you're not dumping an excessive amount without really stepping in and looking and saying, what's working here, what's not. I mean, that's an easy trap you can get lost in. YouTube. Man, this one, people love YouTube. If you have the time and capacity to have your team post videos, I see a lot of people who get so worried that, oh, it has to be professional, and I need to get a videographer, and I need to get a sound guy, and that's great. I mean, if you have the budget for that, absolutely do it. If you don't, I mean, y'all, I did a 20-minute video on like some face laser thing that someone sent me where I was talking to my mother in it on an Instagram Live. I put it on YouTube and I got 2,000 views. I don't get it, but it works. So I just want to challenge you guys to try to get creative. There's lots of apps out there that you can use to do video. I mean, there's ways to make that work on a small budget. Consistency is key. Twitter. So Twitter is mostly used for SEO purposes, celebrities, places that are trying to get news out. There are a lot of viewers. There's 326 million, and a lot of people are using it on mobile. I would say it's great if you need to get information out all the time, but it might not be where most of your audience is going to be. Pinterest. This is great if you're trying to get website traffic. If you're looking to get people into your website and you want to increase your SEO, Pinterest is amazing. Jenna Kutcher has an awesome Pinterest lab. I've bought it for my team. It's definitely an asset worth checking out. Review platforms. If you guys own a brick and mortar, these are very important. 90% of consumers read reviews before visiting your business. So this means that we can't just forget about Yelp, we can't forget about TripAdvisor. This is something that if people are coming in or having a touch with your business, you need to make sure that, one, you're addressing their comments, and two, if you get a bad review, to have systems in place so you can provide a response in a timely manner. I mean, this stat I found last week and I thought was amazing. 456 million people visit TripAdvisor every month. That is insane. All right, content types. So, this is where I think a lot of things get lost with Instagram, is people kind of get frozen of, I don't know what to put up, I'm not sure what to use, and there's different kinds that you can be using. One of my favorite things for businesses to use are graphics that have testimonials, before and afters, something that is going to basically be a vote of confidence for your brand on your feed. You can take those graphics right off of Yelp. You know, you can literally copy and paste it and put it in an app, but it's a great option for you to kind of build confidence in your brand. And then incorporating your products in the image is always important, but you want to make sure that it's not getting too logo in your face. I mean, using a way to have organic content on your feed is really what's going to make your brand seem accessible, and it's going to make your brand be more of a person, which is how you're going to connect with people, which is how we get into social strategy. All right, personify your brand. This is so important. First off, this is my son. His name is Barley. Yeah. Fun fact, he is as much Chihuahua as he is Lab. I know, you didn't see that one coming, huh? Yeah. I put him on Instagram all the time because he's adorable and I'm a psycho and I want everyone to see him, yes, but also because he increases my engagement rate by 20%. So Bartley gets a lot of FaceTime on Instagram. But the reason that is people want to know you. They want to connect with you. They want your brand or your company to feel like a real person. Like I said, office dogs. People want to see what's going on. They want to know if it's someone's birthday. They want to know if you guys are deciding what color to paint a wall. Do a poll and ask them. If you don't know what menu item to make, do a live Instagram of one of your chefs making it, or put a poll up and have people vote. I mean, people want to interact with brands in an organic way. They want to be part of the know. They want to be part of the circle. And it's okay to kind of let your guard down and these are your people that are interested. They've already followed you. They've already made the connection. They want to see what's happening in your brand. My favorite thing is incorporating your team. I think this is important for multiple reasons. One, I think it's great morale for the team. I think it's important for your staff to know that they're valued. It's important for your staff to know that you want to show them off, that you're proud of them. I mean, I love putting stuff up about my girls because I'll be honest, my girls like kick ass. Like they are legit. They handle it. And I love sharing about them because I'm so proud of what they do, and I can tell that they appreciate the vote of confidence. It's also great if you're working, really, not even if you're in a brick and mortar, but a lot of times as managers, we don't get to interact with every single client and every single customer. And I know we all wish we could because, like I said, no one loves your brand as much as you do. But these are the people that are having the face-to-face interactions with the people that are coming to your tasting room or your restaurant or picking up the sales call. And it's important that the people that are interacting with them see the face on the other side of the phone. It sounds weird, but I follow T-Sheets because that's who I use for my time software for my girls. And I call them all the time. I'm probably like their stalkerazzi. And I know the names of the customer service people. And when I see them on their Instagram, I'm like, oh, there's Kelsey. Hey, Kelsey. Thanks for that lesson the other day. I feel weirdly connected to Kelsey. She probably thinks I'm a little bit weird because I comment and I'm like, yeah, Kelsey, get it, girl. I love your, costume today. But people like to see that. I like seeing Kelsey. Kelsey and I spend a lot of time together. I want to see what Kelsey looks like. Oh, you know what? I want to go back to that one. Okay, this is also, y'all, I got to tell you, I bought these and they're adorable. They're so cute, but I'm not wearing them anymore. I'm usually in yoga pants, so I really tried to dress up for everyone today. All right, so this is my favorite, community over competition. I love this. This is so important. If there is anything you take home from this, just please, this is, Kim and I talked about this, we love it. And there's two examples I want to give you. When I was at Peltzer, we did a Maker's Mart. And we had a bunch of small businesses come, and when we did events, we would put them on Facebook, and we would get a couple hundred people that were interested. And then one time, I said, well, why don't we just add all of our vendors as co-hosts? We're all doing it together, we might as well. And then I realized, oh, when I do this, it shows up on everyone's feed, and all of their followers see it. Yeah, so I went from getting about 1,800 engagements per event to, I think, 140,000 engagements per event. It was insane because we were pooling from a larger audience. And all that was us all coming together and saying, yeah, we're all just going to talk about this at the same time. All right, cool. And it worked. I think that was when we did the Christmas tree, and we were praying 75 people would show up. We had 500 people show up. 500 people. We had been open for 3 months, y'all. That is insane. And that happened, thank you. I was really excited about that. That all happened because of social media. One of the other examples I love is 2 years ago I moved to Fort Worth. And what I love about Fort Worth, Texas is it is literally Temecula in Texas. It is a very close, very tight-knit small business community. And I have learned so much about seeing these businesses work together. It is really an inspiration of how much they push each other, how much they promote each other's events. And even people that are competitors at the wineries, for example. I've seen you guys do it too a little bit. When someone comes in and they say, well, where else can I go? Oh, well, after you try our wine, why don't you head down to Lorimar, or why don't you go to Wilson Creek? These are people where we can build and expand and grow as a collaborative community. I see they do tons of events in Fort Worth where they have different vendors come in and they all will split the cost of the marketing, or they'll do a giveaway and they'll offer a bigger prize, but now they're pooling from a way larger group of people. Engaging with fellow businesses and pushing them forward and realizing that you have a platform that can also promote other businesses in town, that's amazing. If you're a for-profit business and there's a nonprofit in town and they're having an event, put their event up. Use it as a tax donation for ad space. Tax donation, right? We all love that. But it's so important to realize that when you work together, there's so much greater of an opportunity to expand your reach. And I think, sometimes kind of people get caught up in the competition aspect, but the reality is the more people that come to Temecula, everyone is going to benefit. And that's something that everyone needs to keep in mind, that y'all have the tools to do this. I mean, call each other up. And my favorite thing is, like, if you're in a social media person and you don't know what to do, call up someone at another winery or business and ask, like, hey, how are you handling this? I do that all the time. I have an Instagram direct message with like 20 other small business owners in Fort Worth. And we talk about like QuickBooks and hiring and yoga pants someone bought on Amazon and everything. But it's become one of my biggest resources. All right. You can tell I was pretty excited about that part. I want to talk about organic engagement because Instagram has changed a lot lately. And it's so important that you guys are dedicating time to have your team engage with your customers on your platform. Answer questions, respond to comments, like some of their photos. That is really what's going to move you higher in the algorithm. And it's going to give your brand more of a personality. One of the ways that I love doing that is just like saying, like, okay, I'm literally going to spend 10 minutes this morning. I'm going to look at our comments that we got this week, and I'm going to go through, and if someone said that sangria looks great, I'm going to write back and say, oh, you should see the one we're having next week. I mean, use this as an opportunity to create a dialogue. I have followers on my influencer account that are like my friends. Actually, I was at lunch with Kim, remember this? And one of them came up and she said, I don't know if you know me, I follow you. And I was like, oh my God, Kat, I do know you. I see your comments all the time. It's so nice to meet you. I talk to her all the time. I mean, it really is an awesome opportunity for you to have a direct one-on-one portal with your customers. There's also, this is something I don't think people use enough, and I think it's really important, and that's user-generated content. And what's so great about user-generated content is it's free, yay. And also, it's basically a testimonial and free photos all at once. And so, basically, that would be if you're at Wilson Creek and you go through your geotag and you see, like, you go through your location and you see a bunch of people, like, these great photos of people enjoying our winery. Message them. Say, oh my gosh, we would love to repost this. So glad that you enjoyed the winery. Would you mind? But make sure you message them because you can't use usage rights without their approval. So very important. But it's a great way to show people enjoying your products, show people in your space, and give people an idea of, like, this is how other customers like to engage with us. One of my favorite tricks, and this is something you probably should write down, but one of my favorite tricks for getting user-generated content is if you create a hashtag and you put it on your profile, like, let's say if it was me, I would say, like, post SipDineDesign does it, something that's pretty unique, and ask people to put that on photos, like share your stories with us with hashtag SipDineDesign does it. And then you can actually follow that hashtag and go through, and you have a curated feed of, okay, well, here's all the ones that someone has said, I can use these, and then you just comment right back and ask them if you can use it. It's the easiest, fastest way for you to be able to get a handle on what content is going to be available for you and what content is going to be free, which is going to cut down on your photo costs. All right, social media setup. It is so important that you have an idea of what your expectations are and what you want your brand presence to be before you hire someone. Because I know that social media is scary, and I know that it can be daunting, and it's a big task, and I hear it all the time, like, oh, we should be doing it, but we just don't have time, and I'm with you. You don't have time. You shouldn't be doing it. But you need to give someone that's new to your team the guidelines and the information to run your social media channels as if they were you. You need to give them the tools to succeed. So that's where you kind of have to sit down and do your homework and build the roadmap for, hey, this is who our brand is. Software. I would highly recommend using Dropbox as your photo organization. They have an amazing app. You can search for images. If you name and organize your photos in a clear, cohesive way for your team, it's going to save you so much time. Do not waste payroll on having your team member look for that one photo of the bottle of wine from 2014. I don't even want to know how much money I've wasted on that. It's very scary to think about. It is so important that you develop a way of people to name the photos, share them in folders, make sure everyone has access. If you need some help with posting, it's too much for your social media person to post every single day, invest in an app like Later. I think it's $100 a month. They will post directly to your stories and Facebook for you. I see someone nodding their head. Yeah, I know. Later's the best. We use it on all of our clients. If you need graphics but you can't afford a graphic designer, use apps like Canva or Over. Those are great resources for people to be able to generate graphics. Honestly, I am a trained graphic designer, and I use those all the time. They're incredible. All right, content calendar. Please go to the website and save this when you hire someone. Please, 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 please. It is so important. Every single month, your social media team should be developing a content calendar for you. It should say what date something is going to be posted, what the topic is, what the caption is, what hashtags you're using, and the image. You can use up to 30 hashtags. The ideal amount is 11 or 12. That's when you get the most traction and reach. That's not in the presentation, so write that down if you want to remember it. This is so important. We do this for every client. We send it over, they approve it, and then we get these scheduled. But this is the best way for you to make sure that you're maintaining a consistent process on your website. Everyone knows what's going on. The last thing you want is you put up a special on Instagram and the team doesn't know what's happening. This is going to save you so much time. Content calendars are key, and you need to make sure that you're hiring someone that knows how to use those. Kim, how much time do I have? I'm at 31 minutes. Okay. All right, I'm going to go fast, but this is online. All right, brand analysis. This is the worksheet in your book. Again, this is one of the important things. That's why I put it on the worksheet. You can't tell someone how to run your business if you don't know how to run it, like who you're marketing to. So I like to ask myself for every client that we onboard, who is their customer? What are they selling? What problem are they solving? What's their social media platform content? And that goes back to what platform has the ages of the users I'm looking for? How often should I be posting? And what content should I be using? Am I doing testimonial? Am I doing all user-generated content? Am I utilizing influencer marketing? What kind of things need to be on there? And then what do I, as a marketing manager or business owner, want to see as a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month goal? What do I want to have happen to my business as a result of investing in social media? All right, hiring process. Oof, it's the worst, right? Literally, it's like the devil. I hate hiring. I hate it because to me, like, we're dating. Like, I am like, girl or boy, like, don't sue me. It's nerve-wracking, right? I mean, you're thinking you have, especially as a small business, you have a tight, small team. You want someone that works. You want to make sure that they work with other people. You want to make sure that their best foot forward is like actually who they are. I mean, it's literally, we're like, all right, it's like get back on Tinder, man. I mean, it's like, it is the real deal, and I hate it. So I just tell myself whenever I do it, I'm getting in there. I am just really getting into the hiring hellhole. Because if you invest in the process and you really just endure it and like put everything you can into it, you can come out with an applicant that is going to like change your life and just make everything so much better. Like, it is just so important that you nail it because you don't have time to do it again. So you need to make sure before you're going into it, what's the salary I can offer? You know, what kind of ads are they going to be expected to run? What software am I going to need? Do I want them to have experience in photography and video? I mean, those are all things that you kind of need to break down. All right, prepare your job posting. Y'all just get into it. Like, really embrace the job posting. Don't copy and paste it from somewhere else. Literally take time, step back and think, what do I need? I need someone that knows how to build a content calendar. I need someone that has photography experience. I need someone that knows about video. And what is realistic? I mean, don't throw something out and say, I want you to be a trained graphic designer with video experience and coding, and we're going to pay you $28,000 a year. That's not going to happen. I mean, I wish it would. I would have found that person years ago because I have been like knee deep in Indeed.com. But that's not real. You have to set realistic goals, and then you have to just really make sure that you want this job posting to be exactly what is going to happen, because you want someone to look at it and know, like, okay, this is what I'm going to be expected to do. My favorite thing is I list the job posting, the requirements. I ask for a cover letter because I want to see if it's a template or if someone is doing their research. I ask to see a portfolio, so if they have a website, if they have any examples of photography, I do an upload link on Google and say, just send me whatever you have. The most important thing I do, because I am literally a psycho when it comes to hiring, is a Google questionnaire. And I say, what do you know about SipDineDesign? On a scale of 1 to 10, how, like, with 1 being beginner and 10 being expert, what are your skills on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and I go down the line. Do you have any experience with websites? Who do you think the SipDineDesign customer is? And I ask them the brand analysis. I ask them that same sheet that you're going to fill out. Who do you think my customer is? What am I selling? What am I offering them? How much post should I be doing a week? And I can tell you, 2 years ago I hired and I did a generic job posting and I got 300 applicants. 6 months ago I hired and I did this process and I got 6, and all of them were good applicants. And you know what? I didn't care that I only had 6 applicants because I didn't have to go through 300 to find 6. My psychotic process did it for me. Because the people who are like, I don't want to work for this chick, she's insane. I'm like, okay, bye. Don't work here. Because you're going to work. And that's who you want. All right, this is the other thing that I do that some people think is extra, and I think it's so important. Create paid projects. I put aside probably about $1,000 every time we hire, and I have all my applicants. I say, I'm going to hire you for whatever minimum wage is, $8.50 or something an hour, and I want you to put together a content calendar for me. And I don't know, I'm in Texas, I don't know. Honestly, that's not my job. Natalie does it. Staff your weaknesses. But we put together these paid projects, and I have them build a content calendar, and I give them a breakdown of this is your client. I had them do it for Grapevine. I said, this is your client. It's Grapevine Wine Stores. Here's your brief. This is their website. This is their social. These are some of the places they stop. Build me a content calendar with 15 posts that would go on their feed. Mimic their voice, mimic their editing style, and pick hashtags. And then I want you to tell me exactly why you did it at the bottom. And you know what? It really tells you who knows what they're doing and who doesn't. And I'm really glad that I figured that out when I was paying them $8 an hour to work 3 instead of 2 months into hiring them and wasting all that time. Because honestly, I can't afford to hire 2 people. I only got budget for 1. Oh, another important part. How much time do I have? Okay, I'll be fast. Another important part is I want you to be a keen observer. When you're emailing them, take in mind, like, are they emailing you quickly? Are there any spelling errors? When you're talking to them, are they courteous to your staff? Are they nice? Are they kind? I mean, you're dating, literally. Is this someone you want to go on another date with? When you interact with them, are they someone that would be a good fit for your team? I kind of went through our hiring process. All right, and this is so important to me. You can teach skills, but you can't teach personality traits. Y'all, can I get an amen? I mean, it is so important. Hire nice people. Have you ever heard the saying, like, date the person who's nice to the waiter? Hire the person who's nice to the waiter. You can teach someone anything. If they're hardworking, if they're smart, if they have a desire to grow in your team, they're going to show you. Hire someone that's nice. Hire someone that's going to breed positivity throughout your team, that's going to encourage their coworkers, that's going to lift morale, that is the kind of person you want to be around, because you're going to spend a lot of time with your people. I mean, you're around them all the time. Hire somebody nice. All right. This is kind of long. It's kind of what we talked about before. But when you hire someone, make sure that once you found your person, you're going through these responsibilities with them. You guys are outlining what they're supposed to be doing together, that you're creating processes together, that you're aware of these processes that they're putting in place. You need to have the sign-off on how you're telling them to operate your social media before you give them the green light. And have them write all this down, because guess what? If they get pregnant, or if their husband gets a job and they move, or if they find somewhere else, you're going to have everything that they created for how to do their job that you can give to somebody else. So invest in this process because you're basically making a roadmap for anyone who's assuming this position in the future. Set goals. My Aunt Jamie taught me this. Set goals of what does success look like for this position? What does it look like in 3 months, 6 months, and a year? And visit those goals in 3 months, 6 months, and a year, and make sure that your team is aligning their priorities with achieving those goals. God, this is so true. This is actually in a template that I bought, but I was like, I don't know who John is, but he is so right. Like, it is a commitment. This is not like, you check it off the box and it's done. This is going to be an ongoing thing. So just embrace the fact that social media needs to be an integrated part of your business. And then as managers, I know sometimes it's hard when we're not trained in social media to say, well, I don't know what's going on with this because I don't know anything about these platforms. Request a report from your social media manager every month. Say, okay, this is what your objectives were. How did those pan out? And then I would do quarterly ones, and then I would say asking for, it's kind of on this one, but asking for, I'm going to go right here. What were the impressions? What were the link clicks? What was our engagement rate? How are our competitors doing compared to us? How many Insta saves do we have? How much website views are coming from social media? Make sure that you're asking these questions and you're seeing them every month. And the other reason is if things start to go up or down, you'll have these to compare and say, okay, well in April we saw a lot of saves, but in July they really went down. What's different in our content? This is going to be the way that you guys can step back and basically have the cliff notes to what's happening in your social media and use them to measure the success of that program. Oh good, this is my last slide. Almost done. Give yourself grace. This is so important. I have clients all the time who call me and say, we were really planning on doing more with social media and I just wish we had more time. And I am here to tell you, it's okay. You don't have to do it. And honestly, you shouldn't be doing it. You should be freeing up your time to run your business, to take care of your staff, and you should be finding someone that knows social media, that wants to help you with your brand, and that you can trust to help you grow your company. Don't waste time trying to do it all. The worst thing you can do is try to be a solid 5 at everything across the board. Hire people who are 9s and 10s. I have a team of 10s. They're the best. I mean, free yourself from this idea that you have to do everything, because you don't. And honestly, you can't. And once I accepted that, that's finally when my business started to grow. We've talked about community over competition. My last bit of advice, utilize your tribe. My team is amazing, and they're the best payroll that I have ever spent, and I would spend it 10 times over. Well, I wouldn't because I don't have the margins, but if I did, I would. But my other tribe is sitting there at table 8. Can you guys just stand up for a second? So that's my dad who just stood up. Those are all my friends and family. Those are my unofficial copywriters, spell checkers. Ask your friends. Have them look over and say, hey, look at the social. Like, how do you think it's going? I mean, ask the people that care about you to kind of give you some honest feedback. And those are the people that are going to give you the honest feedback. Other than that, I put my information on here. If any of you have any questions, I really want to encourage you to reach out. Myself or my team will get back to you with a reply. Feel free to follow me on social media. It's SipDineDesign is my personal platform, and then the agency is on there as well. We love working with other small business owners, and I want to be here to help. So also, this was my first time ever speaking. So thank you. I'm so blessed that I got to do it in my hometown. It literally felt like I was among friends and family. So thank you all for being such a great audience, for letting me take my shoes off. Thank you for having me. And then we're doing Q&A.
Yeah, we
I'm not
actually
putting those on.
don't have much time.
Sorry. We can do Q&A on Instagram chat, y'all. I'm sorry. I got so excited.
I know. Lauren, I could listen to you all day. She has so much good information. And we have I only have time for a quick question. And so I was trying to choose. There's so many. I forgot to tell I want to say y'all now because listen to Lauren, but I forgot to tell y'all that you're supposed to text your questions, but a few of you did see the cards on the table, so make sure on our next speakers, if you have,
fancy.
we'll have a little more time. But just a quick question here, somebody said, what is the best approach for encouraging reviews? Yelp has hidden my positive reviews, so I now have none. I mean, how do you encourage those reviews?
So we do the testimonial graphics where we show people that there are reviews. And then, you can always offer incentives, but honestly, I would do a story if you're the business owner or in a manager position, anyone who's in a customer-facing position, and I would just say, we would love to hear y'all's feedback. We want to know how we're doing. I'm going to link up to Yelp, or we have it on our Facebook. Please, share with us. And I would just give a really honest, raw, organic, I would just ask people to engage.
I also find if you make it super easy, like after
Yes.
somebody goes on a wine tour with us, we send them a thing from John and myself, said, hey, what did you think? If you have some suggestions for improvements, please send us an email. We can make that real easy. And if you love to tell your friends, please click here. And they have to click, and it automatically goes. So
Yeah.
make it easy.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, and then last question that we're going to have time for. What if your business is, kind of boring? It's a bank. What if you're corporate? I'm sorry, banks. I'm sorry.
No, this is a good question,
Yeah.
and I get this from our clients a lot. I honestly think anything, I don't like the word sexy, but anything you can put glitter on anything. There is literally a way to do it. And you know what? If you can't afford to have to hire a social media agency do it, hire social media for a 5-hour strategy session and say, hey, we want to give you a breakdown of have your team compile a brief on this is our company. Ask an agency to say, hey, can you just give us a strategy session for 5 hours? We do that for people all the time who they might not be ready to hire a social media agency, but they just want some kind of guidelines set in place for them.
Excellent. Lauren, we're out of time, but thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
You can get a hold of this girl.
Thank you for having me.